Hello to the teachers and directors of First Baptist Tulsa. This is our Pastor's Cut for September 5th, 2021, and this is actually a video Pastor's Cut. I thought it would be better to explain this verbally than to try to put this into a document for what I would ask you to do, the kind of Bible study I would ask you to lead on September 5th. So all year long I've been asking our church, follow me as I follow Christ. And in that we've been looking at worship and community and serving. And this last summer, we have asked the question, where do we go for God's guidance? And we go to the Scripture. And so my challenge during the message on Sunday morning, September 5th, is going to be to make some memories with the Bible, to have a history with the Scripture. And it's best that I just explore that with you than try to explain it. So during the message on Sunday morning, I'm going to be hitting on about 7 or 8 Scriptures that have been very meaningful to me in the past. For instance, Joshua 1:9. Every time I read Joshua 1:9, do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. I always go back to that time in college that I was overstressed and how God walked me through that time. And if God walked me through the stress of my past, He's going to lead me through the stress of the present and into the future. I have history with that verse. Psalm 73 is another example. It's verse 25. The psalmist says, my flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. I never read that verse without thinking about Becky, a good friend in high school. A few years ago, after her second bout with breast cancer, she passed away. But she clung to that verse, my flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. I have history with that verse, that part of the Bible. I've made a memory with that verse. And so the older I get, the more I read Scripture, I can remember certain times in my life and what God was doing and how He walked with me and how He spoke to me during those times through the Bible. So I want to encourage you to do the very same thing with your community group. Would you go through the Scripture? And this is a very free-flowing Bible study. Would you maybe pick out 3 or 4 passages of Scripture that have been very meaningful to you and share that with your community group? Take some time, look at the context. You can look at the particular context of that particular Scripture, but then how it meant something to you in your walk with Jesus. Now, if I were leading this study, what I would do is I would probably have 3 or 4 verses that I would talk about, say, here's what was meaningful to me. At the beginning, I would say, I'm going to be asking you in a minute, what are some verses that have special meaning for you? So after I went through 3 or 4 and people got a taste of it and their memories are coming back, then open it up to your group to share their memories that they have made with the Scripture. And then I would come back at the end with one more as a closer. So on Sunday morning when I teach this from the platform, I'm going to end with John 3:16. In fact, I have the very Bible that my pastor had me get when I was 8 years old and had me read John 3:16 and put my name in that verse. And just to have that verse of Scripture, and that Bible too, is very, very meaningful to me. For God so loved the world, for God so loved Darren. And that's going to be the invitation on Sunday, is to know a restored relationship with God that comes only through Jesus Christ. So this is an opportunity for you not only to teach in your community group, this is an opportunity for you to look back and to be reflective on what God has done through your life through the years as you have made memories with the Scripture, and more importantly, as you have a history with God. I hope this makes sense. I believe it does. It can be a great morning as we teach the Scripture together and as we talk about what God has done in our lives. Love you guys. It's a privilege to serve alongside and to teach alongside every one of you. God bless you. Bye-bye.